Luna 2, right? They had no way of tracking all the way. So they came to Jodrell Bank and they say, hey, you guys, can you track this for us, to prove that we actually went there? And they said, okay, sure, we'll do that. That's how it went.
Okay, see, he tracked them then and told the Russians, right?
Yeah, he tracked, basically, it was Jodrell Bank who was tracking the Russian spacecraft to the moon and back.
It began with Lunik 2. The Soviets had mustered all their technical know-how to build the probe. But to score the propaganda coup of reaching the moon first, there was one thing they lacked. They had no means of tracking Lunik all the way. No way to prove they'd really got there. This was the challenge that faced one of Lunik's chief engineers, Boris Chertok.
Надо было найти способ, как заставить все человеческое общество поверить в то, что мы действительно попали на Луну. И вот тогда вдруг сообразили, что есть в Англии обсерватория в Jarrah White. У него были хорошие остро направленные антенны, пожалуй, лучшие в мир.
The Soviets sent a covert message to Jodrell Bank near Manchester, the only place in the world which could track a probe so far away in space. Its director was Bernard Lovell.
To my astonishment, I found on the telex machine the long message from Moscow giving complete details, not only the transmission frequencies of this Lunik, but also its position, calculated for the latitude and longitude of Jodrell Bank. And this, of course, was a clear indication that we were meant to do something about it. So we sprang into action.
Когда мы точно сообщили время старта и координаты, по которым идет волна, вот этот лунник, он действительно засек и следил за полетом нашего лунника к Луне.
We immediately found the bleep bleep of the Lunik in exactly the position the Russians stated, and this indicated that the Lunik was destined for the moon. The impact was, I recall, I think 2 minutes, 23 seconds past 10 o'clock when Lunik hit the moon and the signals suddenly ceased. There was, of course, an uproar from the press because it was realized that the Russians had achieved a remarkable degree of technological expertise in doing this.
Then we've got the spacewalker guy, Alexei Leonov. He claims, oh, I tracked it with my boys. We tracked it from Moscow. We tracked it the Apollo 11 when it touched down.
Yeah, see, I told you, they tracked it from Russia.
Well, he says that they tracked it during the touchdown and during the moonwalk when he steps out. Well, during that period, Russia was on the far side of the Earth. Okay, so suppose you have two globes. Okay, you got one. Suppose you have a globe with a dot on it, and another globe here. Okay, this is the moon, right? This is the Earth. Okay, the receiver and the transmitter and the receiver, they must both be in line of sight.
Right.
Okay. Now, if the receiver goes out of sight, okay, if you're not lined in sight, then how do you get the data here?
Well, couldn't they just bounce it off the retroreflectors?
Well, I think you mean bounce it off geostationary satellites. That would work.
Yeah, something like that.
That would work, but that's not how Leonov said he tracked it. He said he tracked it direct from the moon.
Oh, well, maybe he was just drinking too much vodka and he didn't fucking say it right is all. I think you're just getting nitpicky. I think he... Fuck. Well, who am I kidding? Okay. Well, I never trust Russians anyhow, so who the fuck knows what he's saying? But I know because... Bullshit, because I know... Because I saw fucking pictures. Thousands of them, and you can go see them too. You can get on the internet right fucking now, Jarrah, and you can go look up all the fucking pictures of Apollo and the guys on the moon you want.
I've looked at many of them, and you find all these errors with the pictures. I'll go into that later, but if you look at the pictures, right, and you can find, oh yeah, there's something wrong here, there's something wrong there. This is faked.
What errors? He's got a spacesuit on.
Well,
of course he's in fucking space.
Let's see, look at this, and zoom it out. Oop, press the wrong button.
Okay, the guy's in space. It's in the pictures. Oh, Oh, there goes your evidence.
Here we go. It's back on.
New NASA will find you.
Yeah, right. Okay, here's. Except the slideshow one. Hang on. Out. Exit. Thank you.
Okay, there. See, there's a picture with the rover. Ha ha ha! I told you they're on the moon.
Yeah, let's see. Let's zoom in, shall we?
It's important to have a good rover when you're on the moon, so you can get around.
Yeah, let's see. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And
See, it's a rover.
and what's down here then?
It's
Hang on.
well.
What's this then? There's a little C on this rock here.
Well, how do I know you didn't Photoshop that in trying to fuck with me?
Mate, I got this picture. It comes from it was printed in the, what do you call it, the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Space Technology in 1981. That C is there. You can find this photo on various NASA
Maybe it's
sites
just
as
a
well.
copyright on the rock.
A copyright on the rock. Now I've
Yeah.
had everything. And
They're
this-
just copyrighting the rock because it's their moon rock. They're going to bring it back to Earth, and they want to have a.
Why would you need a
copyright.
copyright if you just put it in the bag and you mark it?
Well, so nobody else tries to say it's their moon rock. They have a copyright on it.
Well, they've got it in vaults, mate. So who's gonna steal it?
Speaking of rocks, I have a friend who lives over in somewhere in Europe, and he got a moon rock way back when Buzz and Neil and Michael were traveling around the world. They gave him a fucking moon rock, and it was in his case, and he kept it forever. And it was moon rock, and I saw it, so I know he went to the moon.
Isn't that the one that turned out to be petrified wood?
What are you talking about?
The moon rock turned out to be petrified wood. Didn't you hear about that?
What are you talking about, Buzz?
The moon rock that this guy was given turned out to be petrified wood. It was a fake.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
How come you didn't tell me?
It was on the.
Oh, he's dead now. That's right. He couldn't tell me.
It was on
Well, who the hell found that out?
a bunch of scientists. They looked at the moon.
Oh, you can't trust scientists. Jesus Christ. That's my whole argument. Is the scientists keep telling me. Now, where's all the scientists in, Jarrah? Where's all the fucking scientists saying, yeah, Jarrah White's right and NASA's wrong?
Well, first of all, when they talk about radiation, they seem to be fed this bullshit that, oh, there weren't any major flares during the Apollo missions, and only the major flares can do you harm. They've completely eradicated the real science. They've effectively swept certain pieces of information under the rug, okay, and they've been feeding the modern scientists this garbage.
Oh, no, I've read those articles. They said they were really lucky.
Really lucky. You know, that's conflicted by the actual records. You look at the records and you see there were indeed major flares during those flights.
Okay, well, maybe they were lucky and they flew around them.
How can you fly around them when these flares they come straight at you at near speed of light? Okay, then you've got all the solar flares and all the cosmic rays coming from all directions. Then there's the portion of solar flare that hits the moon and gets sprayed, reflected towards you. There's all these secondary particles. Then they're hitting you from all the other sides. Like you're not just one. You got one side that may be pointing towards the. Sorry, you got one side that might be pointing towards the sun, and you got this other section that's pointed towards the moon. Okay, this portion of the flare hits the moon, then bounces back towards you. So what are you gonna do, man?
I would be really glad I had my spacesuit on so it would block all the radiation.
In 2003, when NOAA 720, a solar flare exploded, okay, they set a spacesuit off a little resistance. That's in Sickening Solar Flares, that Science at NASA article.
So NASA wrote an article saying that their suits weren't very good. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. They
Why would they tell on themselves? That doesn't make any sense.
No. They were talking about solar flares, this recent solar flare, but they stuck to the same old story that, oh, there weren't any major flares during the missions.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
right.
you can prove otherwise, right?
I can prove
Is that what you're
otherwise
saying?
because they have the CFI, the Comprehensive Flare Index, and I also got the book written by various guys at the Marshall Space Flight Center, Astronautical Engineering and Science, in which they state that even the minor solar storms can deliver 25 rem per hour, depending on how many centimeters of water you're using.
Well, come on, Jared. How can you tell which one of these NASA guys are lying and which one's telling the truth? What are you, psychic?
Well, this is obviously back then. This is before the moon flights, okay? And you can compare it with modern data, and you find out yes, this indeed would have caused a damage. Everyone seems to agree that the major solar flares at least would have done damage to you.
I got you. But over time, they can recover from the damage, right?
Well, solar flares, they keep hitting you so rapidly, okay? They don't give you enough time to recover.
Well, after all the major solar flare passes, don't they have time to recover?
Well, not really, considering the high levels of radiation that you gain in the first place. We're talking hundreds of rem per hour.
Well, yeah, but you can survive like 200,000 rems, can't you?
No, I don't think so. You absorb 500 rem and you're dead. That's how it goes.
500 rem.
500
You're
rem.
sure?
According to Malden, that's what he says.
But I saw another one of my buddies at one of those forums I hang out, and he said that you could survive up to 1,000 rems.
He must be confused. Or maybe he's talking about the skin doses. Sometimes they say the skin can absorb thousands of rem when obviously your skin's dying, but the inside of your body absorbs a different level of radiation. But still, you've got all this radiation penetrating you. Okay, you need 500 rem to absorb that, and you're dead.
Right. Too bad they didn't have the retroflectors for radiation. It could have like made it go around them.
Yeah, too bad they didn't have that. But the fact is, they didn't have the water shielding on them.
Nah, I don't know, man. See, but I've been told. Let's see that. Well, I mean, I look at the videos and I see them bouncing around on the goddamn moon. I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, and they're not bouncing much higher than they would get on Earth. You see this person jumping on Earth. They probably get about say knee level at most, and you see them on the moon. They're not jumping much higher than that. Right? They're on the Earth.
Okay, well, I know, but my buddy Phil Plate over at that Bad Astronomy Forum, that he said that bald-haired bastard said that he had heavy backpack on, and that's why they couldn't jump high.
Well, back in the 1960s, before they went to the moon, they did these various tests at the Langley Research Center, where they have these gigantic cranes. They suspend the astronauts sideways via wires.
Operation 33. First that page there. It's a proposal by William H. Sprague of the CIA to use John Glenn's possible death aboard his Mercury capsule to use as an excuse to invade Cuba. Do you have any comments along those lines?
No, never heard of it.
You haven't heard of it? I've sent you emails about it, telling you about it, and you wouldn't comment on it.
I tend not to comment on it because I get a lot of people sending me emails all the time, and the evidence that we went to the moon is overwhelming. The facts about the moon landings are overwhelming. And the people who are claiming, such as yourself, the moon landings are fake, seem to be impervious to the sort of logic that fact-based science and reality would provide for them. Now, I will answer more questions, but as I've now told you, 3 times, in fact, you need to go talk to somebody who's at the administration of the JREP, because we are scheduling interviews for things like that. I will be happy to talk to you, but not right now.
Who do I speak
have to go to lunch.
Who do I speak to?
Somebody in the administration. Or Jeff Wag, that would be good. Where is Jeff? I don't see him. But they are around.
Isn't it interesting that when asked about Operation Dirty Trick, a proposal to use John Glenn's possible death in space as justification for an invasion, Blake did not comment in any way regarding this false flag proposal, but instead he changed the subject altogether, stating that the evidence that Apollo happened is overwhelming. The question was about the government's willingness to exploit the deaths of astronauts, not did Apollo happen or not. Plate's response was essentially hand-waving, the debate technique of failing to rigorously address the argument in an attempt to bypass the argument altogether. You don't have any comments along the lines that the government were willing to let John Glenn die?
You are completely impervious to logic. It's astonishing. I've told you several times now, I'm not going to answer your question. I have nothing against you. I have nothing against moon hoax or anything like that. I just can't talk now, okay? Thank you.